Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Simple Steps to Online Success. And I am your host, Deanna Fenton. Hope you're doing great this beautiful November day. We had rain, which is pretty exciting in Northern California. Um, Unfortunately, it's not going to last very long, but that was what I woke up to, which was very welcome. And today, we're going to talk about an interesting trend that I am starting to see. And I always joke back in the ancient times when there were fax machines. I always tell the story that I was working in a purchasing department, and the owner of the company came in and he presented us with a fax machine. And I'd never heard of such a thing. And I was like, what are we going to do with this? And he goes, oh, well, we're going to fax our orders to our suppliers and they're going to send us stuff. And I was like, I don't know anybody that has a fax machine. Well, literally within weeks, everybody that was a supplier to us suddenly announced they had a fax machine. And so then I know this is like dinosaur times. We were faxing back and forth. So what does this have to do with quitting Facebook? Well, I'm starting to see these trends, these statements of certain people and organizations talking about leaving Facebook. And there are a multitude of reasons. I think we can all agree Facebook is an extremely busy, noisy, distracting place. If we as business owners are trying to capture our clients' attention, Facebook is a really hard place to do that. And, I'm starting to see more and more about how can we attract our ideal customers outside of social media, or certainly outside of Facebook. So to go along with that, and this is interesting, and Facebook themselves have kind of contributed to this issue. I am seeing more and more people that own Facebook groups are using Zoom to go live. And the reason is because not everybody wants to be on Facebook. And even if they are on Facebook and watching your live stream, all of that distraction is all around, and it's very hard for people to concentrate on what you are sharing. So I see more and more people, and I can almost suspect what they're trying to do is train their groups to focus on Zoom and not watch the video, the live stream in the group. I see that more and more. And I'm not saying that's bad or good. I think maybe it is certainly good for the group owner trying to make sure that they're appealing to a wider audience. And if people are just not on Facebook, you make it available. When I did my coaching week at the beginning of October, into September, beginning of October, I made a point that I tried to make sure the content was available not just on Facebook. That if people were not on Facebook, they had a place to go watch the replays and that type of thing. So it's been a while since I talked about community products. And I wanted to bring it up because back to the fax machine analogy, I am seeing more and more messages from groups and people about their plans on getting off Facebook, getting their memberships off Facebook, getting their groups off Facebook. And I thought it was time to share a little bit about that and some of the options that you might consider. Now, the first one that was a big interest to me, let me back up real quick. So I did want to make sure that everybody, whether you're watching this live, I see there are some of you watching live. And if I can get my, oh Lord, I'm having trouble with this computer again. This cursor. Hi, Janelle. I am glad you are here live. Like I said, I see some of you are live. But if you're going to be watching on the replay, I love it when you put a comment and you let me know #replay and give me some feedback if you are seeing, and actually you guys watching live too. Have you seen these trends? Have you seen it where people are taking steps to get their following off of Facebook or build their following someplace other than Facebook? So the first one that I'm going to share with you, and I did review Circle quite a while ago. They have made some changes and some updates, and it's ironic because this is the one that the most recent people and groups have said they're going to is Circle. And see, I can't there, Circle. And I like Circle, but Circle is paid. So let's just get that out of the way. It's $39 a month at the basic level. And they have added some new features, I understand, according to my very good friend, Catherine Dove. Catherine has a great membership, and she has a Facebook group, and she just said she's going to start moving everything to Circle, and she's also going to move the membership content from Kajabi to Circle. I will address Kajabi's community at the end, because I think some of you are probably wondering, well, what about Kajabi community? I will address that. But Catherine had decided she's going to move everything. And what was interesting is before she told me that, because I'm in her group as well, I saw this group called the Quiz Collective. So this was a group on Facebook. I was part of it. This is a number of people that work for Interact or are certified consultants for Interact. And if you're not familiar with Interact, Interact is a quiz building platform. It's the one that I recommend. I really, really love it. In fact, got a very special workshop coming up about how to use Interact with Kajabi. So let's say no thanks to browser notifications right now. So what they have done, they just made an announcement, and I'm also on their email list because I'm one of those people that when people ask me, do you want to get on my email list? If I'm interested enough in joining a group, I'm going to get on their list. They said, we're getting off Facebook, period. We're building everything in Circle. So there's a couple of things that I really like about Circle, one of which is you can see, and I know you can't see very well here, but over on the left sidebar, if I am a member of more than one community on Circle, I can toggle between them. They appear in my sidebar here, and I can toggle between, as well as I can create my own community as well. So I will let you know that I did upgrade today because I want to explore some more of these new updates that I'm understanding. So let's just take a look at how the Quiz Collective is utilizing this new community on Circle. So they have a very obvious start here area. They have the welcome, and the welcome consists of 3 spaces. And this is always a tough thing for me, is we have to learn new terminology. And I believe both Circle and Tribe both use the term spaces. So you can have a community. Within the community, you have subgroups, which are spaces. Now, you can also set access. So you can have free access, and then you can have paid or closed type access to some spaces. And that's one of the things that my friend Catherine said that she liked, because she can have free content and have a community of people who are not paid members, but they can see that there's content behind the paywall, right? So they can see that there is specific content that they don't have access to that might conceivably motivate them to become a paid member. So that is one of the options. So you can see here, I was automatically added to the start here, say hello, and join quiz coaching. So that's these buttons right here in the sidebar. I will tell you, because I had been on Pat Flynn's community on Circle last year, or might have been earlier this year, I did find the sidebar kind of overwhelming. There was like almost too many places to go to do things. Now, that was just my impression. I did not use and wasn't part of the community for a very long time. So maybe once you get accustomed to it, that it's a little more user friendly than it appeared to me. So let's start again with the start here. So there is the welcome. They gave some very specific steps. I do really like how that they've broken this into very actionable steps that send you to different steps. Want to join coaching? Let's see what else. Community values and RSVP to community events. So it gives you a nice option of linking to other content in the community to kind of set people up for success. Because I think that's one of the biggest concerns, whether it is a free community or a paid membership, is making sure you have the onboarding to have people get accustomed to know where content is, where they can ask questions, where they can get help and support. So same thing, we've got the say hello and join quiz coaching. So they're offering this. This looks like it is going to be, this is coaching sessions. So they had one yesterday, unfortunately, that I missed, and they have another one on the 17th. And you can click here to sign up for free quiz coaching. So I love this. Number one, it's a great value add for me as an Interact customer, that I've got this kind of community support. And these are Interact employees that are responsible to be coaches and answer questions and help their members. So then they have these different threads, and I guess I would call them threads. So your big quiz idea. So they're asking people to post, the ideas that they have for their quizzes. So they can be giving some feedback, members in the community can give some feedback, topics, titles, and result. So you can see here, they're giving some how-to content where they're giving them feedback on, okay, now here's how you create value in your quiz. Here's information about your welcome sequences and your results. And you can see here, some people posted some questions or comments on this, which is super, super cool. And then this was week 2 resources, quiz result pages. So, again, they're really trying to walk you through step by step. Now, this one I am sure is a very popular thread, which is email integrations and tech support. So trust me, I am going to be personally myself coming back here. I've got my way of integrating with Kajabi. I'm interested to see if anybody has any other options, but you can see here lots of posts about email integration and launching and promoting. So then they also have this Coaches Cafe. So you can post, ask for feedback on your quiz, again, expert sessions and events, Facebook ad support, copywriting support, all kinds of really phenomenal information. And to make this even better, all of this is free. I mean, I'm an Interact customer, but all of this kind of support is absolutely free. So that is Circle. Now, so let's take a look at actually what Circle says that they do. Now, first of all, good to know they have a 14-day free trial. I had exceeded my 14-day free trial, and that is why I had to sign up for it to continue my evaluation of it. And if you look at their pricing, you have the basic level, which is $39. And this gives you what they call the bare essentials. You can have up to 1,000 members, 10 spaces. Now, let's recap here. These are the spaces. So these are like sub areas within your community. So according to this, you can have 10 of these. My guess is the Interact gang at Quiz is probably up here at least 20 spaces. You can have a custom domain, which is always very nice to have for both a branding and easy access. There is integration with Zapier, and that is pretty important because I'm going to cover how in the world do we integrate with Kajabi here in a second. And SSO with MemberStack and MemberSpace. I'm going to come back to SSO in a second as well, because that is also something and another reason why you might consider using something like Circle. Now you can see obviously on the professional level, there's 10,000 members, 20 spaces, API access. API access, I'm not quite sure. It's not telling me what that API access would be. Like that is integrating with other outside platforms, but I'm not understanding exactly what those other platforms might be. White labeled community, meaning it's simply branded under your name. I frankly am not that concerned about that at this level. That's great, nice to have. Custom CSS and JavaScript. If you're super techie or you have a techie team and you want to really customize some of the content in Circle, then this would be important because you would be able to incorporate CSS and JavaScript. That's just more advanced scripting to include things like, let's just pretend I wanted to have my video ask onboarding down here. Those of you that have seen my sales pages, you know that I use Video Ask to have some interaction with people visiting my page. To use something like Video Ask, you frequently need to have JavaScript, access to be able to embed JavaScript. So that's telling me that that would be a possibility under this professional level. Single sign-on, not only with MemberStack and MemberSpace, but with WordPress and Memberful. I'm not familiar with Memberful. And priority email support. And obviously, we can look over here and see Enterprise offers tremendous amount of additional access. So let's talk about single sign-on. Let's get back here so I can talk to you about what single sign-on is. Single sign-on means, and you've probably experienced this, is that you can use your login information for one platform to log into a second separate platform. Now, that's even something more advanced than an API that allows the transfer of information between two platforms. Single sign-on is a really big deal. That means every time you go to log into some kind of app, let's say, and it says, do you want to log in with Facebook? Or do you want to log in with your Google ID? That's a single sign-on. That's allowing you to utilize your login for one platform with another. So why this is important is that Kajabi has on their planning, and I'm going to show you that right now, that they are talking about, here we go, integrating a single sign-on, SSO, between Kajabi courses to an external community platform like Circle. Now, what's really exciting is that this is under planned. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to, let me fly over here real quick and show you. I want you all, if this is important to you, go to that URL, ideas.kajabi.com. And I'm going to show you, you're going to click under planned, scroll down to the bottom left corner, and you can vote. It's a nice to have, important, or critical. So needless to say, Kajabi has their own roadmap. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, there are things that they deem as important for development resources. But the more that we can give them feedback on that this is a vital thing to have, the more that they're going to pay attention to it. And they clearly are acknowledging it's important because it is under planned. But to get this sucker up the list of all of the development work they have to do, which I'm sure is extensive, they need our feedback on this. So this does not mean that Kajabi is abandoning Kajabi community. They just understand at this point, it may not be, Kajabi community may not be as robust as some people would like. Now, I will tell you that one of my members joined somebody's membership, and that person is using Kajabi community in addition to a Kajabi product for delivering her membership content. And she's done a phenomenal job with Kajabi community. She has engagement from her people. She has a lot of resources available and ways, and she hasn't done any custom work on it. It's using Kajabi community as it is. She has just had people that are in her community that are willing to log into Kajabi and interact in there, because then they also then can access her regular content under a product. So, you know, I'm not saying everybody needs to try things and see what works for them. Kajabi community obviously very clearly works for this person. But there are some now that we're talking about that want to look at these external resources. So I just covered Circle. And let me jump over here and see my, oh, so Janelle posted about the whistleblower news was rather disheartening to learn. Yeah, again, the backlash against Facebook. And I don't know who you are, but you're entirely welcome. And somebody else says it's very timely. Good. I'm glad that this is helpful. And Janelle, yes, Janelle, in case you missed it, the Quiz Collective is Interact's community. So they had this on Facebook. They are in the process of moving it off Facebook, and everything will be in Circle. And like I said, fantastic supportive resources and community. And this is from people that work for Interact. People that work for Interact are their consultants on building quizzes with Interact. So yes. Okay. So now there is another option, and they have a free level. So I also spoke about this option months ago, and it's called Tribe, which is ironic because Tribe, at least in my poor little feeble brain, I always think Stu McLaren. Has nothing to do with Stu McLaren. Stu does not own the trademark of Tribe for a community platform that I know of. But it is another platform. So let's take a look. So this is Tribe. It's very similar. I mean, if you look at this, and this is a pretty good example, very similar to Circle. It doesn't get quite as much attention, and I don't really understand why. You can see here, it is the community for Mind Valley ConvertKit. So it's ConvertKit's community. And Tim Hortons, which is, I don't know, kind of hysterical to me. And I don't necessarily recognize, well, I recognize IBM, but that's kind of in a different league, right? So it just talks about creating the online community. Now, seeing this is something I wanted to point out, that I just saw today that somebody was complaining that Circle does not have a mobile app. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not mobile friendly, but it's not a mobile app. Now, I have not tried that out, so I can't confirm that. But here's another example. You can see that you can customize, including a custom domain. Again, super helpful thing to have. And they're showing ConvertKit as the example. They have apps where you can track your analytics through Google, which is fantastic. Custom code, that's similar to what I said about being able to add CSS, JavaScript to be able to do things like embed video ask, questions and answers, discussions, everything you need to build. They also use the term spaces for your content containers, analytics, moderation, managing member access, integration, and search. So that leads us to what Tribe looks like. So this is what Tribe looks like. Now, granted, I have not done anything with it, and I am not a member of any group right now on Tribe. Now, when I was looking at including some kind of gamification, you can see down here, and I imagine that Circle has it as well. You can gamify based on what people post. So if it's similar to Facebook, that when people are active in the group, you can reward them with badges. So they are, a helpful person, they get some kind of, I'm trying to see if any of these, this is all kind of onboarding stuff for me as the owner. But I don't see any actual options. I guess if I go, let's look at, if I could go into, there we go. Let me go into the support community. That will probably show me more options. So if I am looking, and again, they've now taken and they've organized their spaces. Tribe campfire engagement. I'm trying to see if I could find some actual posts here. I'm trying to see if anybody has any badges yet. Doesn't look like it. Anyway, announcements. Yeah, this is all kind of one-sided from Tribe. So this may not be the best example but you can see they're running 11,000, almost 12,000 members off of this space. And this is an admin. So once again, that's not a badge per se. Anyway, that was one of the things that I was interested in, was how you could kind of gamify the community where people could earn badges. But it's possible, but it's only within this community based on their posting. So that was just, again, one area that people always look for in a community is ways to improve engagement. And you could do that by gamifying it, where you give badges and that type of thing. So that's kind of it. So Tribe, let's take a look. The pricing here on Tribe. And let's do monthly, because I prefer to compare month to month kind of things. So here is a basic one, right? So you can use this with unlimited spaces and the very basic apps. So some of those apps that we saw, like incorporating Google Analytics and that type of thing, may or may not be considered basic. That might be considered plus apps. My guess is things like Zapier, maybe a plus app. Customization, custom domain, and community support. Then for $59 a month, you get all of the basic plus the plus apps. And again, I'm wondering if perhaps that would include Zapier. Let's take a look if I can see what our and single sign-on. So if you were going to use single sign-on, you'd have to use the plus. And yes, as I suspected, Zapier would be under plus. So price-wise, you'd really have to weigh this versus this, because they are including the Zapier integration at $39 a month. So how would you use the Zapier integration? Well, the easy thing to do, or the primary use, I would say, is when somebody purchases your membership in Kajabi, you would want to be able to add them to your community on Circle or Tribe. And you could use that with Zapier. So in fact, let's see. I'm not going to do it right now, obviously, but I'm going to take a look at Zapier. I will show this in one sec. I want to log in. I don't know why every time I struggle with logging into this. Probably the problem is I've got more than one account. Okay. Let's fly over to Zapier and talk about it. So let's say I have Kajabi and I want to integrate it with Circle. So if you've watched me talk about Zapier before, you always know that there is a trigger that has to fire this Zap to make it actually do the thing, right? So you can see here that there are several options. So assessment, new form submission, new purchase. On the surface, I would say probably new purchase. So somebody purchases your membership. Now let's see what our corresponding action is. We can add member to a space, add member to a space group. We're going to have to figure out more about differences between spaces and space groups. My guess would be your space might be free. The space group is the group within it, which is paid. So we would add that member to the space group. Now, one of the things that's always a big thing, and it won't do it. You can see here where it says one of our option is remove a member. And that's one of the things that I think most membership site owners want to automate is if somebody cancels their membership, that you want them automatically removed from a community. You can't do that right now with Facebook. So everything, as far as I'm aware, is manual. So what could you do? You could add a tag when somebody cancels a membership or when a payment fails. I can tell this is something I need to test. My guess is what you could do is add a tag, and the tag would say member cancellation, so that when that tag is applied to that contact, remove them from that space group. That is how I would do it. You could also tag, untag, and update a member. But I'm thinking the two main things is you want to add them and you want to be able to automate removing them. My guess is tags in Kajabi would probably be the best plan for that. Now, just out of curiosity, let's see if Tribe is in here. Yes. So same thing, if you were going to use Tribe, a new purchase of your membership, you could add or remove a group member. Yeah. Interesting, they include add or remove under the same action. And kind of wondering about that. So my guess is you could always, that might mean that if it's automatically, if they cancel, it might remove them automatically. More research that I could work on. Okay, so let's take a little peek over here. Oh, and Chris, you just voted for Circle. So Chris has been using Circle for her Chemistry Cafe. So Chris, if you're still watching, let me know how you like it. How is it working for you? Because I noticed I have access to it. So have not gone in there. Yeah. And Janelle's like, yeah, I think of Stu. Yeah, but he doesn't own the word tribe. And so they name their community Tribe, and he has nothing to do with it. And how important is gamification? I don't know. I think it really depends on your audience, Janelle. And I think, yes. So I would say it has to do with your audience. There are people. So I will give you the perfect example that is used all the time, which is Peloton. I'm not a Peloton person. If I were on a Peloton, I don't think I'd be motivated by getting the little badges and the little, I forget. Stu talks about Peloton and their gamification all the time. I am just not that kind of person. It does not motivate me. But there are a lot of people that it does motivate them. So I would think it just depends on your audience. I think for the most part, most kind of more business people, it might not motivate them as much. Where if it's more of a, it's hard to explain. I mean, it's just like the personality of your group, I guess, would dictate it. You know, there's just fitness is one, because I think people that are involved in fitness tend to be more competitive people, and they want to earn badges, and they want to be known that they're a helpful community member, and there's all kinds of different ways you can do that badges. You're trying to figure out a better way to get your members to engage. I got to be real honest with you that I've discovered in my free group, the Kajabi Kickstart, I hit 900 members in the last week, and all of a sudden now I've got a lot of engagement. I think a lot of times it's depending on the number of people. And even when I would post things to try and generate engagement, it really wasn't happening. But now I'm starting to see, just kind of by the sheer numbers of people that are in there now, people are starting to interact more. It is really kind of a challenge, especially when you have a small group and the small group, you'd think it would be easier because you could call out people by name, right? Say, hey, so-and-so, what do you think? But sometimes when there's a bigger number, people don't feel quite as, and I don't want to say singled out, but feel as exposed because there's just so many more people. Gamification could go either way. Yeah. So like I said, it just fires up some people, and other people like me are meh. And your paid group, your free group is the same. And sure, it's all me. No, it's not you. I guarantee you it's not you. I will say we do have to put out a whole lot more effort before we start seeing responses from people. But you'll be amazed that sometimes you will post the most kind of, it doesn't seem like a real sexy topic or anything, and people will jump on it. And things like, it's so funny. I guarantee you what will get people going is tell people to post a picture of their favorite four-legged workout partner. You will have people posting all over the place with pictures of their dogs and cats. Like I said, I mean, sometimes it's just the simplest thing. If you post that was the same one. If you post something like that, where's your favorite place? And I know you're not focused just on yoga anymore, Janelle, but where's your favorite place to do yoga? Or what was the most exotic place you ever did yoga in? Or I don't know. Sometimes you just have to brainstorm a whole bunch. So, yeah, the four-legged, trust me, post a picture of your favorite four-legged yoga partner. That'll get a lot of people. And Chris says, Circle works well. Your community is small. Easy to post content for discussion. Okay. Chris, have you played it all with the, because I think Circle has the badges also. So I don't know. It's probably, see, for Chris's audience, which are parents of adopted children, I doubt the badge awarding is going to be a real big thing. I mean, they're there for some pretty serious discussions about communicating with their kids about adoption and that kind of thing. So I don't know if the badges are going to be a big thing. So, well, thanks for letting me know, Chris, because I was wondering, and I noticed that it's in my circle. So I'm obviously a member, I guess, from when we first, because Chris and her daughter and I looked at Circle and got it set up initially. So that's pretty fun. Okay, well, that is it. So quick summary is just whether or not you are looking at jumping the Facebook ship right now or just want to keep your options open. You do have Circle. Circle.so is the URL, and it starts for 14-day free trial, starts at $39 a month. With anything, if you're going to do a trial, please, because I'm guilty of this, schedule out time on your calendar to actually explore it and research it, and don't waste the 14-day trial, because there's nothing worse than then start to pay for it because you didn't completely evaluate it. Anyway, but then it's $39 a month for the starting. Tribe, which I think is another good option. Pricey from the get-go. Oh, no. It is, but it has a free basic. So then you don't have to worry. You can test it out, play with it to your heart's content before you have to upgrade. The upgrade's pretty pricey. But then keep in mind that even with Circle, you may need the higher level plan to get some automation set up with Zapier to get between Kajabi and Circle and Kajabi and Tribe. And Kajabi community. I know it gets frustrating and people bash it all the time, but I'm telling you, there are people that are making it work. I don't know. There's no secret sauce other than, I would guess, the content and the engagement of the people in the community from the beginning, right? If you're just bringing in a cold audience into a community and trying to get them, I mean, we all know what a struggle it is. Like Janelle and I were just talking, a struggle to get a free Facebook group interacting. So, but keep that in mind. And if you are a Kajabi user and you're thinking of using one of these external community platforms, do vote up the single sign-on. Go to ideas.kajabi.com, go to planned, and in the very bottom left-hand corner, you can vote up single sign-on integration with Circle or other community products. Okay. Sorry, my mouse is zwinging around. With people leaving Facebook, do you think Facebook will start charging to have groups? I don't know. I don't know what the metaverse is thinking these days. Coming up with a different name. I don't know what that all means, frankly. For me, that's the whole metaverse thing is just like way outside of my comfort zone. It seems pretty weird. So I don't know. I do not know. I will tell you, Facebook did it. Facebook experiments with a lot of things that I think many of us are not ever even aware that they do it. I do know they experimented with paid groups. So what they were trying to do was, for those of us with memberships, they were offering that we could create a Facebook group, charge for it, and Facebook took a cut of that revenue. And there was a minimum. I mean, I don't remember how much it was. I know there was, Rachel Miller is a person who is an expert at building communities on Facebook. So this was one of those things that she was invited to test it, and she went through it and tried. I won't say tried because it might have worked. She had it focused on a very slim segment of her audience. And they paid, I don't remember, it was $10 or $15. And I don't know if it was 50% went to Facebook, whatever it was, but she was testing it. And the last I heard, they scrapped it because that has been at least a year ago, if not longer. And I have never heard of it being discussed again. So I don't know. They might go back to it. Yeah, save the Asana. Yeah. Oy, okay. Yep. I don't know, Janelle. It's pretty weird. So thank you all for joining me. If you're watching on the replay, let me know, #replay, any questions or your experiences with using an external community. I'd love to hear about it, and you can just post it in the comments. And any ideas that you've got for future Facebook Lives, I'd love to hear your ideas. So thanks again. Thank you guys that were watching live, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.